Hello. Oh my god. I fell asleep when I got home from dinner tonight, and I just woke up a little bit ago. It's like 1:18. I don't look very pretty. What a day. We had more snow in Indianapolis. It's like a winter wonderland this year. And yeah, we had more snow, and I got up and took the dogs out and uploaded the vlog. I got that out early today. Were you guys so impressed? I'm drinking some Gatorade right now. Oh my god, my battery is absolutely dead. Oh, this will be a world's shortest vlog again. Well, I haven't done a short one in a while, so we'll just talk until the camera dies. And when it dies, you guys will know. I always say that and then it never happens, but then you guys will know, oh, well, so good night, I love you, and when it dies, you'll just know that's how I feel. Anyway, I got up today. I don't even know how that happened. Well, maybe it's because I left it in the car and it's cold outside, because when I left the house, it had like 60% battery in it. Does temperature affect the battery of a camera? Does anybody know? So I got up, I went and got coffee, I went to Meijer, and I got more dog food because Tanya told me that I should be feeding Boo Radley consistently the same meal, so I don't change it every day, which, I mean, makes total sense. I don't know why I was doing anything different than that, but, you know, when we were feeding them hard food, it was really easy, but with, like, canned food, like wet food, because of their teeth, I change it up a lot because I think, oh, I'll give them something different. And she was like, don't do that. She was like, just because you're feeding them wet foods, you want to feed them something consistent. And I said, well, do you think I should go back to feeding Boo and Tucker hard food? Because, like, you know, we did it because of their teeth. And the vet had told us for pee-pee that we had to. And she didn't say that for Boo and Tucker. We just did it because we thought it would be easier that way. Plus, their teeth are not great either. And Tanya's like, hard food is always, not hard food, but, you know, like kibble is always better for dogs than wet food, and I didn't know that. So anyway, I've been looking for high protein wet food to help Boo Radley gain some weight because he's so thin. And, you know, when we take him to the vet, like, he looks so thin, but, like, whenever they weigh him, they're like, no, he's, like, normal for his size. You know, he's just a thin dog. A lot of Papateses are that way because he's half Papillon, half Maltese. And he's more Papillon than he is Maltese. And Tucker is more Maltese than he is Papillon. So he's like, the vet's always like, it makes sense that he's thinner, you know, he's fine. So, he's within a healthy weight range, but he looks so thin, you know. And then when he was sick the last couple days, I feel like he lost like a pound or two, you know. I don't know. I mean, I can't gauge a dog's weight to save my life. But he is back 100% to normal, and he slept straight through 2 days. He didn't really want to eat those days. Last night he ate a lot. And today, he was like the first one up this morning, and he was licking my face, and he wanted to go outside, and then I fed him, or Alex fed him tonight, but I went and got the new food for him, and he ate. So we feed them separately so that they don't, like, eat each other's food. And so Boo Radley gets the most food right now, and so we put him in the bathroom while he's eating. So I was the one that went in there and, like, got him out, and he'd eaten all of his food except for a little bit, and then I put it out onto the floor, and then he licked it up because I don't think he could get it out of the bowl. He's so cute. But he ate like an entire can of dog food, so I was really proud of him. I was like, good boy, Boo Radley. So then after that, it was like 9:30 or 10, and I told Alex I was gonna lay down for like a half an hour and do a live stream, and I've been so tired. This cold weather is like really making me tired at, you know, night, and I'm getting a good amount of sleep, so it's not because of that. But I said, I think I'm gonna lay down for a half an hour or an hour and then get up and do a live stream. Well, Alex watched like a little bit of a show and came right upstairs, and then we both like crashed out, and I woke up at like 20 after 12. I took the dogs out, called a friend of mine that had called, and was texting Tanya before I left, and then now I'm doing my vlog. It was a good day. We had marriage counseling tonight. We had a fantastic marriage counseling session, And then afterwards, we went to Cheesecake Factory. There's something about Cheesecake Factory. I know that it's like a total chain restaurant, you know, but there's something about it that I love in the wintertime. I like the mood of that it's kind of dark. There weren't a lot of people there. Alex had, it's like one of their healthy, it's like one on their skinny menu. He had their white chicken chili, I think is what it is. He loves it. It's like one of his favorite things from Cheesecake Factory. And I got a grilled cheese and fries. And yeah, so we had a good time. It is snowing right now, actually, a little bit. It's like spitting snow. It's a good day. It was a really good day. And tomorrow I was supposed to go out to lunch with a friend, but she got the flu, so she had to cancel. And so now I just have like a meeting in the afternoon from 4 to 6 that I have to go to. And then that's it for tomorrow. So I've already got written down what videos I'm doing tomorrow. And I usually, like the night before, I try to come up with ideas for what I want to do for my videos tomorrow. And actually on my BookTube channel, I was going to do 2 videos today because one of them was a review. And so on the days that I do reviews of books, I'm trying to do a spoiler-free review for every book that I read this year. So on the days that I do reviews, because not everybody loves reviews, I try to also do another book or do another BookTube video. And so today I did a review of The Woman in the Window by A.J. Finn. Okay, you guys, like, go watch my review of it on BookTube, but like, that book is seriously the best mystery that I have listened to in the last 5 or 10 years. It was so good, so scary. I had no idea what was going to happen at the end. I was totally caught off guard. It was just really well done. And it was really interesting because I was listening to it on Audible, and at the end of it, they had an author interview that the narrator of the audiobook interviewed the author. And it was really interesting to hear, like, the author talking about his own depression and how he got the idea for like using these Hitchcock movies. And his next movie, or his next book, is based out of San Francisco, and this one was in upstate, or this one was in Harlem in New York. And to hear his creative process, you guys know I love to hear about somebody's creative process, was very, very cool. So I was gonna say something. What was I gonna say? I don't know. And then my BookTube. So I know what I'm going to do my video about on my main channel. And then on my BookTube channel, I'm going to do a discussion. There's this whole issue going on in the BookTube community, apparently. I was not aware of it until I saw this video today by my friend Cam. And his channel is called Wolfshot Publishing. And he did a video about, it was a discussion about Goodreads. You guys should go check him out. His YouTube channel is called Wolfshot Publishing. WOLFSHOT Publishing. He's from Australia. He's really cool. And he starts every video and he's like, "What's up, Bootsy?" If I had a BookTube like brother, he would be that. He's just so cool. And I told him I was going to find him a girlfriend. So anyway, he did this video, and it was a book discussion. A lot of booktubers do book discussions about bookish issues. And so there's this whole thing going on that authors on Goodreads, which is a reading app like Facebook but for books, are like very upset, some of them apparently, and they're like about negative reviews. And I don't want to say a whole lot more than that because I'm doing my video about that tomorrow in response to his video. But I got really heated like watching this video. I was like, you know, as an author and as a reader, but I felt more so as a reader, I got kind of heated about it. Apparently, like a lot of these authors, and I've heard about this for a while, that if you leave like a negative review on, and I don't think this is like big authors, I think this is more like smaller self-published authors, but if you leave like a shitty review on somebody's book, that they like message you and they like tell you what you didn't understand about the book. They're like, well, you obviously didn't understand A, B, and C about, oh, who does that? Like, what author does that? Like, you're crazy if you do that. why would you ever, you know, like, you can't take criticism? Listen, I know my book wasn't the greatest book out there. I know some people like it and some people couldn't stand it. And I'm okay with that, you know? I remember Joseph Birdsong, I think he's doing gaming videos only now, but I loved him back in the day. And I sent him a copy of my book and he reviewed it on his channel, and he was like, I really liked this book, but I hated the ending of it. He goes, it wasn't very realistic and it was too happy. He goes, I don't like happy endings, which I love happy endings, so, and I love insta love, so both of those things were in there. And he was like, but other than that, I liked the book. He was like, I just wish it hadn't had this happy ending. And I was like, oh my God, Joseph Birdsong reviewed my book. You know, I wasn't like, oh, you shit, you didn't understand the end of it. You know what I mean? Like, why would I ever do that? Seriously. I've been thinking recently about this. I want to write a sequel to it. Like, I always, in my head, so if you've read my book ends, I think they're juniors in my book, and the book ends on New Year's Eve of their junior year. And I've always thought about writing a book, like a sequel to it, and I wanted to follow it up, and it would be 4 years later when they were in high school. So, not to steal his idea, but it's totally stealing his idea. Brent Hardiger, who wrote the Russell Middlebrook series, which is about a gay kid in high school that comes out, and who he falls in love with. The whole series is about him and this guy, and him and his friends and things like that. And but it takes you from like 16 or 17 all the way through to like late 20s with this guy, Russell Middlebrook. I love the series. It's so fantastic. And he's so creative. Like, the first one is called Geography Club. They made it into a movie. I think the movie is on Netflix. The second one is called something of the Poison Oak, Curse of the Poison Oak. And it's about, like, when they were camp counselors. He and his two friends go to become camp counselors. And they introduce a character in there named Otto, who's in the rest of the series. And then the third one is called Double Feature. And it's about how they're extras in this zombie movie. I mean, he's so creative. And then the fourth one is like when they are after, I think it's after college. It like jumps. But his books are so creative, so imaginative. He takes such creative license with them. They're so fantastic. I love him. He's one of my all-time favorite authors, and he's such a neat guy. And he writes teenagers realistically, but also, you know, respectfully. And so he does this thing where he jumps every 4 years. Well, when I was writing my book, I was highly influenced by his books, although the stories are very different. And I was like, you know, maybe I'll do the same thing and do like a catch-up every 4 years, and then I'll do it in real time. Well, my book came out in 2014, so in real time, this would be the year of the sequel. And to find out what happened to Rusty and Danny. The problem is with that not so many people read the book the first time that are begging for a sequel, if that makes sense. I'd kind of like to revisit the story and tell it. And what I'm really thinking about doing is actually, just because I wrote the other one in 4 weeks, this summer sitting down and writing the other one and following it up, and just putting it out on, like, I don't know, seeing if my publisher will put it out there, you know, for cheap or something like that. I just think it'd be fun to have that out there as a sequel. And then I can say I've written a sequel, you know, a duology. Maybe turn it into a series. Who knows? But people ask me that a lot. They're like, did it upset you that you didn't sell as many books as you wanted to sell? I sold 1,000 books within my first 2 months, which is really a high sale. And this was before I even had a YouTube channel. That's a really high sale for a first-time publisher that nobody knows, that's not with a big publishing house. Like, if you were Simon & Schuster, you probably are going to do real well. But 1,000 books is pretty phenomenal. I was totally fine with that. And, I mean, I was more than fine with that. I was ecstatic, you know, and I haven't really talked on here about this, but I did some, like, oh, what are they called? I went to libraries that have not book conventions. What are they called? Shoot, why can't I think? But anyway, I went to book fairs. I did a couple book fairs. Those were really fun to have like my table set up and stuff. And I could do that now. That would be kind of fun, wouldn't it? To do a book fair now. And then like, because people are always like, are you going to ever do a meet and greet? And I'm like, yeah, I don't know. But I could do a book fair. Then if people wanted to come, they could come and buy my book. And then I could... Oh... But those were fun, and it was fun to like walk around and see other authors, and you know, some of them were just like totally love to write, and other writers took themselves way too seriously. I love writing stories and coming up with characters and all that kind of stuff. I love it so much. And yeah, so it's interesting because a part of the book that I'm like editing, part of it takes place during a winter storm, and it's interesting that like I'm in a winter storm as I'm editing this book because we've had such bad weather lately, you know. And then I've been floating back and forth with these ideas that I'm working on next. The next book that I think I'm going to work on is not so much. Well, I have so many ideas, you guys, and I start ideas and I stop them, and I start ideas and I stop them, but I want to consistently work on one idea. And this one idea that I have is really more of like, it's not so much, it would be considered probably new age, but it's not young adult, it's more college, like college, out of college age kids. And it's kind of a mix between the movie Metropolitan, if you ever saw that movie, and like I just don't even know that I want to say that much about it, because it's kind of like an idea that I haven't really seen out there, and so I'm like, you know, I think that's maybe the next book that I'm going to work on. I don't know that I want to jump right from young adult right into adult. Like I think I kind of want to have a segue in between that. That makes sense. I need to get on a writing schedule. I've been saying this for a while, so I think February 1st, I'm going to get on a writing schedule and really stick to it, and like not move off of it whatsoever. And set up, you know, like every day, like get up at this time, write this for these many hours, and like I do very, very well with that kind of structure. And that's how I wrote my first book, but I haven't been doing that lately. So like I'll go into my office for 2 hours, then I'll feel like, okay, I'm ready to go. And then I'll leave, and then I won't write for 2 days. And then I'll be like, oh, let's just write from home today. And I'll write for like 5 hours. And then I'm like, you know, and the thing is that writers that I know that are successful are very disciplined. Artists that I know that are successful just in general, you know, whether they're painters or sculptors or mural painters or, you know, filmographers or, you know, whatever, writers, they're very disciplined because you have to be to get anything done. And I am so driven to distraction that I am not a really disciplined person. You know, like with my YouTube channels, if I got up every day and just sat down and just did my videos, like I have my videos done within 2 hours. I could get up at 10 o'clock, you know, take a shower, start my videos at 10:30, and by 12:30 have my videos done and have the entire day just to relax and do nothing except for whatever meetings that I have with work. And now, the way that I have, now I am very disciplined with my work. The way that I have my work set up, you know, is that like, I'm taking projects here and there. So, like this month I have, I think 3 projects, and I'm not going to take any more than that because that's really all I need. And, so I don't like, never seen that billboard before. So I don't really, have to work a ton, and so I could just relax and read and whatever. What ends up typically happening, I don't know if you guys are like this, but the more I have to do in a day, the more I get accomplished. The less I have to do in a day, the less I get accomplished. So if I have a list of 20 things and I get up and I start doing those things, or if I have appointments I have to go to, or take the dogs to the vet, or if I have to go, you know, whatever, if I have all these different things to do, I get more accomplished on days like that than I do on days that I have nothing to do, because I tend to just like kind of lay around and be like, I don't know. I mean, I finally took the Christmas tree down the other day, and then I was like, I need to dust, I need to clean the kitchen. But like, our house never gets that dirty. Like, the bathroom needs to be cleaned right now. But even if you came into our bathroom, you'd be like, you think your bathroom is that dirty? Well, the shower door needs to be cleaned. I'd like to Windex around everything, you know, on the counter. Does it need a deep cleaning? No, never. And, but I'd like to get some of that stuff done, you know? I don't know why I am so into this Gatorade kit, but I think I'm about to get off of it. Do you guys ever get obsessed with something and then you can't do it anymore? That Gatorade is like not as good to me as it was like a week ago. I'm just not as much into it. I don't know. Alex started drinking it, and then I chapped my lip, you guys, and it hurt so bad. Alex started drinking it, and I got real into it for a second because he drank it. I don't know who sent me this. I can never remember who sends me anything with this cocoa butter. But it's good for chapped lips. I mean, it's good for lips that are split. I split my lip today. It hurt so bad. I'm so weird about my lips. You guys know that. That feels good. Did I just... You ever do that? Put the cap into your chapstick and then it just like takes the nick out of it. What was I saying? I don't know. I just remember that my friend Krista back in the day, her brother, who's like this total skater, he was in a band called Split Lip. I don't know how I remember that. Do you remember like names of bands when you were in high school? Were you that kid? Like, I was that. Okay, so like all of my friends were like skater chicks, and like always like all of my girlfriends, all my friends in high school were girls, period. If there was a guy that I was friends with in high school, it was because he was like the boyfriend of one of the girls I was friends with. Like my friend Bill in high school, we were really close, but that was because he dated my friend Heather forever. So, we used to call him Bilfer. What's that, Bilfer? Anyway, I feel like I had all of these friends of mine that were like in garage bands, and all of them had the funniest names. All their garage bands had really funny names. But this is what's funny about it, is that they all, I just remembered this. Okay, so my friend dated this guy. I don't even remember what his name is, but his band's name was Primitive Infinity. I don't know how I remember that, but I would call her and I'd be like, hey, do you want to hang out? And she'd be like, I can't. I'd be like, why? And she's like, Tyler was his name. And I would be like, she'd be like, I'm going over to Tyler's house, because PI is, they're rehearsing. And I'm like, she called him PI, Primitive Infinity. And, Public Image. But not to be confused with Public Image Limited, which was Johnny Rotten from the Sex Pistols, and I love that. And I love that song, or I love them, and I love the songs Rise. But anyway, I had so many friends that had like friends or boyfriends that were in garage bands, and we just sit there and like watch them. It was so stupid, and they weren't even that good. I mean, none of them became famous, period, end of story. Not that that really matters, but they would take themselves so seriously. And do you guys like remember back in the day? Like, I don't know how it was for you, but this is like totally the 80s. I mean, maybe it's not maybe it's not a year thing. Maybe it's like every age. It was just different like bands or groups or whatever. But like, I can remember, like, let's say if there were like 4 guys in like, you know, Primitive Infinity or whatever. Like, So it would be all of the guys' girlfriends, but none of them were really friends together. Like, they didn't really hang out. They each had like their own little group that would come and like hang out. So at any given time, there'd be like 12 to 15 people in somebody's garage watching this shitty band play. And then like when it was over, like the 4 guys that were in the band would like take off and everybody else would go do other things. And they would just act like they couldn't even be bothered with anybody else that was there, including their girlfriends. It was so weird. I don't know why I'm having this conversation, but looking back on it, I'm just like, that was really weird. Like, why did anybody take that? Like, and as like, okay behavior, you know? I would have been like, get fucked. I wouldn't have then. And those guys were always like so mysterious, you know? Like, I wonder what they're doing now. I wonder how mysterious all those people are now. I think of all of these people that I went to high school with that, like, I kind of wonder what happened to them. Like, it's interesting because when I was in junior high, there were these 2 girls that I was, like, obsessed with stylistically. And, God, should I even tell this story on here? I, like, don't even want to tell this story because it makes me sound like such an idiot. Okay, well, I'm going to tell it. And the one girl knows who she is, and I've actually talked to her since, there's like a police car just parked out in the middle of nowhere. I've actually talked to her in the last couple years, and she's totally normal and really, really nice. And I even like messaged her and I was like, oh my God, I was totally obsessed with you back in the day. She was so cool. I remember she had this little blonde bob and she like dyed this part of her hair right here like white and green. And then she would have like holes in her jeans and she would wear like lace leggings underneath them and Doc Martens. She was so cool. And I was like, and she just was so confident. I mean, the thing about these 2 girls was that they were so confident. I think I was attracted to their being confident. Well, her friend's name was, if anybody out there that you guys went to my junior high, you're gonna know who I'm talking about. So don't anybody go look her up or anything, but her name is Marty, and I was like obsessed with this girl. And she was like, I'll never forget, she was like the first girl I ever saw like our age that carried a Louis Vuitton purse, okay? This is like in 8th grade, no lie. And she just was so cool, and I remember like, I don't know if anybody else caught on to it, but these 2 girls, like the last week of our school, and what was interesting was I didn't know them, like I was not friends with them at all. And, like, I just wasn't. I was just different and socially awkward and socially, you know, had social anxiety. And so I just kind of watched them from afar. But, like, I thought they were so cool. Like, I admired them and their confidence was so cool. Well, the last week of school of our 8th grade year, they both dressed exactly the same, like, every day. Like, one day they both, like, dressed up in, like, these really nice dresses. And they got, like, I mean, very cool dresses and did their hair and everything. And then, like, the next day, they both like wore like hoodies to universities. I can't remember what each day was, but anyway, the one girl that lives here still in Indianapolis, she ended up going to a private school, and this Marty girl ended up going to a boarding school, and she ended up actually being in a few movies, and I will keep her anonymity by not sharing what those movies are. I think I've said them actually in a vlog before, but she was in, I think, 2 or 3 movies, and in the one movie, well, I don't care, you all can go look it up. She was in Edward Scissorhands, and she was in Reality Bites, and in Edward Scissorhands, she has like a speaking, a couple lines in there. I think somehow she was friends with Winona Ryder, like at boarding school or something, I don't know, and I remember she came to my high school to like visit some people when she came back into town, and she was very mysterious and different, and I kind of like indirectly know what happened to her because I ran into, like 6 months ago or something, I ran into somebody that knows her, and I was like, oh my God, do you ever know? I'm that person that's always like, oh my God, what happened to so-and-so from 3rd grade, you know? And I was like, do you know what happened to her? And she like kind of told me what had happened to her and what she's doing. She's like total normal existence now, and I'm like, that is so crazy, you know? And I think that for most of us, we dream up this kind of fantastical life for other people that they probably don't really even have, you know? And I'm at 29 minutes, so I have to stop this because it's going to turn itself off in just a second. Hold on. But I think that we create this very fantastical life for people sometimes. You know, it's like, so did I talk on here about Rusty, the guy that I had the crush on, you know, when I was in high school? And that's who I based my book on, right? Well, You know, what's interesting about that is, like, Rusty was probably a really nice guy, or just normal guy, nice guy, you know, that didn't have a lot of friends, that was quiet. And if I went back now, and if I went to go find him now, let's just say if I found this Rusty guy who probably was straight anyway, and just offering me a piece of gum, that I was like, you know, like when you're in high school like that, you're like, you like take cues from every little thing and you turn them into something that they're not. But, you know, like, if I found him now, he's probably like, you know, just some normal dad living outside of, you know, Denver, Colorado with his wife and 2 kids, and probably doesn't look anything like he looked in high school. And, you know, he's probably just a normal person. And it's interesting, like, the people that I meet today at my age that are kind of like really unique and different and listen to like really, and like I feel like they're my tribe of people, if that makes sense, but they're my age. Like Melissa is very much this way. Are typically people that have either always been that way, like, and never really lost it. Like, I've always loved the same kind of music. Stylistically, I've always loved to be, like, you guys don't see it so much on here, but like, you know, like Western, and I'm too fat to wear the clothes I want to wear right now, which pisses me off. But anyway, you know, like all this, like, I love to wear different colored stuff and different jewelry and all that kind of stuff. Like, that's fun for me, right? And Melissa's been very much the person that she was in high school is who she is now, you know? Which is why we get we can talk about the same music and the same movies and all this, because we lived it together, right? Or I meet people that have been through some shit, and their way of dealing with it was coming into their own, I think, later in life. And I think that is equally as cool, you know, to find out who you are at any age and be like, this is who I am today. And, you know, that idea of being confident, of being self-aware, takes a lot of us a long time to get to that point. It's not something that just happens, you know, overnight like that. I mean, it's taken me 40 years of my life to get to a point where I'm just like, you know, I don't give a fuck, and yet still some stuff hurts me, you know? It does, and I can't ignore that. But that doesn't mean that I have to sit in that stuff today. So, I don't know. I love meeting adults that, like, you know, it was interesting because in my book, I made the mom very cool. And she had like real edgy hair. I actually based her off of this girl, kind of, if she had grown up. But I also based her on my best friend's sister, who is very much this girl, or this mom. And she's like my age in the book. And, you know, she's kind of a sellout in that she has a lot of money and she wears these, like, you know, huge diamond earrings, but she still has like real choppy, you know, blonde, like blonde bob that she tucks behind her ears, and she has like a Fender t-shirt on, and she wears Doc Martens. And you know, like, I love that like she's still who she is. And you know, when I go to music festivals, one of the things that's so cool, and you see it more with European people, honestly, than you do with Americans. You don't see a lot of Americans that are my age at music festivals, but you see a lot of European people that are my age at music festivals and older, like 10 years older. And they're like down in the front row dancing. Like, you know, you see these gorgeous, you know, 55, 60-year-old women with long hair and very cool t-shirts on that say like Ibiza, or, you know, like with their Chanel messenger bags, and they are just rocking it out to this EDM music. And it's very cool. It's like, you know, I think in the United States, we have these societal rules we put around things, and it's like we can't break outside of them or something. I don't know, you know, but I very rarely see people at music festivals that are my age. I mean, I see a few, or I meet a few of them, you know, that are my age, but it's, you know, it's very much like this conversation. So, like, the people that are from the United States that I've met at music festivals that are my age, they'll be like, so who are you here to see? And I'll be like, oh, I don't know, like, I love all of them, you know? And they'll be like, yeah, I've seen Tiesto 15 times. Like, we usually get a VIP section at, when we're, you know, at his residence in Las Vegas. Okay, that's like a very American thing to say, and I'm not stepping on any toes, but it just is. Like, Europeans will be like, oh my God, I saw David Guetta at this small club in Ibiza. He was fucking amazing. We didn't even know he was gonna go on. It was 3 o'clock in the morning. You know, we had been like partying for 24 hours straight. We had had dinner at this great restaurant. There were 15 of us. We decided to go down the beach, and there he was, you know? I mean, like, that's like, And I love that. I think that just that attitude is very cool. Lots of French people and a lot of Belgian people. Well, how would you say? I don't know. Somebody from Belgium. People from Belgium. I don't know what the word is. Can somebody help me below? I guess I can Google it as soon as I get off here. I should know that. I used to have this woman that I was friends with, and she was from Belgium, and she would call me and she would say, "Hello, Peter. How are you doing today?" I am horrible with accents. She had the most beautiful accent in the entire world. She was gorgeous, and she was so much fun, and she loved David Guetta. And she'd be like, "I just want to dance on the beach to David Guetta," you know. And it's like, I don't know. There's a freedom about that, and I just think we gotta live life. Okay, my camera just like shut off right in the middle of that, but I don't know. I was just talking about dance music. I don't know. I love it. I love going to music festivals. I love dancing. I love all of that. It's so fun. So I don't even know where it just like all of a sudden it stopped, and then I looked, and then it like turned off. So I don't even know where it stopped, to be honest, and I don't even know what I was talking about because I'm losing my mind. Not really, I'm not. I feel actually rather sharp today. Do you ever have days like that you feel like real sharp? You're like, today I am like sharp. I think I've been drinking a lot of water, and that's really been helping me a lot. I don't know if this is true or not though either, but like with being a vegetarian, I have felt a lot sharper as well. I don't know if that has anything to do with it. I might just totally be making that stuff up in my head, but it does feel to me like I'm sharper in my head. Isn't that weird? Does anybody know about that? I believe it to be true, even if there is no truth to it. I'm convinced that I'm sharper because I'm a vegetarian. You're like, yeah, there's no truth to that whatsoever. Okay. But the water, I do believe, makes me sharper. I don't know. I don't know about any of it. I just know I feel clear-headed today. And I don't have a headache. Oh my God, I just noticed that. I don't have a headache. I haven't had a headache all day today. I wonder why. I wonder what's different today. I remember years ago I saw this movie with Susan Sarandon. I can't remember what the movie was called, but she had like all these kids, and the son had died in the military. Did you guys see this movie? I can't remember what it was called, but through the whole movie, the husband, like, he is like, gets sick or has headaches or something, and they can never figure out what it is. And the one son or daughter at the very end is like, have you ever thought about switching out? He drinks tea every morning. And she's like, you always get headaches after you drink your tea. Have you ever thought about just like stopping drinking tea? And he's like, oh my God, I never thought about that. She's like, I bet you're allergic to the tea. And ever since then, I've always thought to myself, like, you know, when you have something consistent, well, I have migraine disorder, but I feel like it's been headaches that I've had, not migraines recently, which there's a difference. I always think, like, is there something consistent that I've been doing that I changed? Okay, what did I do today any different? Nothing. I just didn't, really. I got good sleep. I had coffee today. What else did I do? Took my medicine. Whenever I talk about being epileptic, I get so many messages about it that I'm thinking about doing my whole video on my Peterisms channel tomorrow about being epileptic. But then I'm like, I don't know if anybody cares. It's not something I really think a whole lot about, you know, but I just take my medicine and I have to be safe and careful. People around me have to know what to do. If something would happen, I would have a seizure. It's been so long that sometimes I'm like, well, maybe I'm not epileptic anymore. But I'm not willing to come off my medicine to find out. Years ago, I was terrified. I was like, I had this fear that I would be like on a desert island, and then I wouldn't have my medicine, and I would just be seizing left and right. That's when you know you're paranoid, and when you come up with shit like that. On the way into the deserted island, I was going to have my legs eaten off by a great white, and then I would just be seizing on shore with no legs. That was my fear. Peter, get it together! Oh my God. I have those first couple lines of To Kill a Mockingbird going around in my head, where she goes, somehow it was hotter then. Scout, Jean Louise. It's a still night tonight. Still life watercolor. I was gonna sing the next line, but I don't remember it. Is that Dangling Conversations by Simon and Garfunkel? I love Simon and Garfunkel. My best friend Margaret and I in high school, we used to listen to them every day after school. We thought we were so intellectual. We were reading like Hemingway and Fitzgerald, listening to Simon and Garfunkel, and we wore all black. We thought we were those people. We were those people. You couldn't tell us we weren't. I think like high school sucks, but that's kind of one of the really cool things about being, I guess you could do it at any age. I guess I could do it today, but then everybody would laugh, right? I mean, you can kind of like, but who would care, I guess, is that you can try on 100 different costumes and be whoever you want to be, you know, and isn't that cool about life? I need to watch that movie Harold and Maude again. If you want to be free, be free. If you want to be me, be me. There's a million ways to be. You want to know how. I don't know the words to that song, but I love Cat Stevens too. Did you guys ever see that movie with Ruth Gordon? It's such a great movie. Very bizarre, but it's a good movie about like living life to the fullest. And the whole thing's done to the backdrop of Cat Stevens music. I feel like taking a really long road trip. We haven't done that in a long time. I love road trips. Okay, I think I'm at about, I don't know, like 36 minutes, almost 40 minutes. I'm gonna stop here, and I'm not gonna push it on this camera because then I won't be able to upload it because it'll be dead, and then I'll have to charge it before I can upload it and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, I love you guys. I hope you're having a wonderful week. And watch all of my other videos if you'd like. And if there's something specific that you guys want me to talk about on here, or like a story to tell or whatever that you've heard me start and not finish, put it in the comment section below. And before I do my vlog tomorrow night, I will read the comments. And if I see something on there that you guys want to hear about, I will talk about it. All right? I love you guys. Bye.